Back at CBS News election headquarters, Bob Schieffer, you've been saying it's a little too early to back up the hearse for the Democrats, even in terms of control of the Senate. Why? Show me and tell me how the Democrats can still retain control.
Here is how they could do it, and probably the only way they could do it, Dan. That would be to win a very close race down in Pennsylvania, where Harris Wofford is in a really tough fight with Ron Santorum. They'd have to keep that seat Democratic. They would then have to pull an upset out in Minnesota, take a seat out there that was held by Republican David Durenberger, and Winnia would have to win that. That one is still close. Our latest estimate is it's still close to too close to call out there. They would have to go on and win that very nasty race out in California, where the polls haven't closed yet, Senator Dianne Feinstein against Michael Huffington. And then they would have to pull an upset in Washington State. Ron Sims would have to beat an incumbent Republican, Slate Gordon. If they did all of that, the Democrats would retain a one-vote majority in the Senate.
Let's pop over to Ed Bradley. Ed, haven't heard lately about the governor's race in Florida. Really close down there. Chance for Jeb Bush to win, Republicans to take over. Haven't heard much about the race in Texas. Bring us up to date.
Well, the last numbers I've seen in Florida, Governor Lawton Chiles is narrowly ahead in Florida, and in Texas, George Bush is doing well. Ann Richards doing poorly in Texas, the numbers that we've seen. There you've got Bush 55 to 44% over Ann Richards. We also have been keeping an eye on the race in New York. It has been a very difficult night so far for Governor Mario Cuomo. There seems to be a sense that many people feel he's been in office too long. He is not getting much of the independent vote. Most of it is going to George Pataki. Also, a tight race in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. In Georgia, Zell Miller, been around forever. He is ahead, but not by much. And tight races in Pennsylvania and Maryland. We're keeping an eye out. Too close to call in both of those.
Do I understand, Ed, or not, that Governor Cuomo is in enough trouble that we could say he could lose that race?
He could lose that race, but I think it's important to say that the precincts, we don't know where these precincts are coming in from. With the precincts in now, you look at that, he's behind. But we don't know where those precincts are.
Thank you very much. In Atlanta, Georgia, Representative Newt Gingrich, who may be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives if the Republicans get a net gain of 40 House seats, is standing by. Thank you for being with us, Congressman. It's still early, but it could be that you're poised to be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. You've worked so long and so hard to make that happen. How does it feel?
Well, mostly it feels a little bit undecided, first of all, Dan, and it's good to talk to you tonight. I think there's a very high likelihood it's going to happen. We don't want to claim anything until we see some more numbers out west, but the trend, certainly in the Midwest and the South, has been remarkably good for us so far, and what is a historic year, I think, in terms of a decision the country's made. I think for me personally, it feels almost a little bit intimidating, just in the sense that to go from being whip to being minority leader would have been a pretty big jump. But to go from being minority whip in the Republican Party to potentially being Speaker in one step is an enormous jump. And I talked to Bob Michael about it yesterday and told him that I was going to really need a lot more advice if we have to make a transition this size in the next 60 days. But at the same time, it's one we've worked for a long time and have a lot of team members across the country working very hard. And it's a very exciting night for us, as you can imagine.
Stay with CBS. Our CBS News election coverage will continue in a moment.
When something brand new, something fresh and exhilarating, comes into your life at the exact moment you're ready, screamingly ready for it, it's not coincidence. Aurora by Oldsmobile. See what happens when you demand better? Aurora.